Every day, we discover something new on our planet, whether it's animals, plants, or even microscopic beings. Some say we still don't know 1% of the life forms on our planet. Now, think for a few seconds. If there are still thousands of mysteries within our planet, how much do we know about what's out there? You may not believe that there are life forms beyond our planet, but you can't deny that annually, in some part of the world, unidentified flying objects are seen wandering through our sky. A small note before we begin. The name UFO says it all. Unidentified flying object. In other words, if at first it's not possible to identify that thing flying in our sky, it's a UFO, whether it's a flying saucer operated by aliens or a simple homemade drone made by a high school student. We are here to filter and show you some of the biggest cases that have not been fully explained. The Gries Vault incident. In 1990, a mysterious incident involving UFOs occurred in Gries Vault, Germany. Some local people claimed to have seen strange lights in the sky. That's when researchers went to the location to investigate this mystery and try to unravel what actually happened. During the researchers talked to Jens Hollard, one of the witnesses to the incident. Hollard described that he was sitting with his girlfriend, enjoying a beer and the good weather, when he saw something strange in the sky. At first, he thought it was an airplane, but as it moved in a way he had never seen before, up, down, and even changing shape, he ruled out that hypothesis. He had really never seen anything like that before. Hollard also described that the object appeared to be made of several smaller lights that moved together in harmony. The object made no sound and seemed to move very rapidly. When asked what this object could be, Hollard said, "I have no idea. I'm not a UFO fanatic or anything, but this is definitely something I've never seen before. It definitely wasn't a normal aircraft." Another witness was also interviewed, and she said, "It was amazing. The whole square was full of people looking at the sky. The lights were hanging there, not moving. They were like bright spheres. I've never seen anything like it before." This witness also stated that the lights were visible for many hours, even mentioning that military flares usually last only a few minutes. The researchers then, after talking to other witnesses, went to the location of the incident in search of concrete evidence, such as debris or burn marks on the ground. However, nothing was found. All the reports were very consistent and detailed to be dismissed as rumors or hallucinations, so this mystery remains unsolved to this day, intriguing as it may be. The Yenkin complex case. In 2007, a guard at the Yenkin complex, just a few kilometers from the Turkish capital, reported a series of strange occurrences with unidentified objects appearing in the sky. These sightings had been frequent for months, so much so that the guard's testimony was confirmed by other people in the region. Another survey that confirmed the fact was a series of videotape recordings that he gathered of these sightings. TÜBİTAK, the Turkish governmental body for research in science and technology, issued a historic opinion on the authenticity of a 35-minute video made by the night guard, showing an unidentified flying object and the silhouette of two alleged crew members, something unprecedented in world ufology. The UFO, seen by nearly a dozen residents of Kecksburg, Turkey, and filmed by Yeltsin Yalman, caused a stir around the world and in parts of the media in China, Russia, Brazil, and Switzerland. Filmed in August 2007 and analyzed initially by the Serious UFO Group, it was released to the public on January 17, 2008, at a press conference. The images submitted to the Serious Space Research Center were considered the most important of a UFO ever recorded. Critics soon emerged, starting with Professor Adnan Oktam, from the Department of Astronomy at Istanbul University, Professor Mehmet Emin Özel, from the Department of Physics at the university, and Professor Kerem Doksat, from the Department of Psychiatry at the university, who said that the footage was a prank made with a model or computer animation. And they said this without conducting any analysis or any other type of study. So, the Serious UFO group decided to go on TV and inform that they were submitting the video to Professor Adnan Oktam for study at the reliable and renowned scientific institution of the state called SPITAC, which conducted a comprehensive analysis and prepared an official report stating, "The objects seen in the above-mentioned film have a structure that is made of specific material and are definitely not made by any kind of computer animation or any form of special effects used for simulation in a studio or for a video effect." So, in conclusion, it is concluded that the sightings of these sightings are within the consensus of the scientific community, that they are a totally strange structure made of materials that don't belong to any category, by those of terrestrial origin, such as balloons, aircraft, etc., and that there is no conclusive explanation of these sightings, but instead they are just unidentified flying objects. Even though this case remains unexplained, some critics say it's a hoax, while others believe it's one of the most credible UFO sightings ever. The Aerial School Incident. On September 16, 1994, in Rwanda, Zimbabwe, a group of schoolchildren claimed to have witnessed a UFO landing and encountered beings from another world. The incident occurred at the aerial school, and it involved more than 60 children aged 5 to 12 years old. According to the children's accounts, they saw a silver craft land near the school, and strange beings emerged from it. These beings were described as having large heads, big eyes, and thin bodies. They communicated with the children through telepathy and conveyed a message of concern for the Earth's environment and the future of humanity. The children were interviewed by researchers and journalists shortly after the incident, and their stories were remarkably consistent. They were genuinely frightened by the experience and seemed to believe in what they had seen. Dr. John Mack, a prominent Harvard psychiatrist and abduction researcher, also interviewed the children and found no evidence of deception or mental illness. He believed that their accounts were sincere. The aerial school incident remains one of the most compelling UFO encounters due to the number of witnesses and the consistency of their stories. It has been featured in numerous documentaries and books on the subject of UFOs and extraterrestrial encounters. The Phoenix Lights. On the evening of March 13, 1997, thousands of people in Arizona reported seeing a series of strange lights in the sky. The lights were described as bright orbs or a V-shaped formation of lights moving silently across the night sky. The event is now commonly referred to as the Phoenix Lights and is one of the most famous UFO sightings in the United States. Witnesses included police officers, pilots, and ordinary citizens. The official explanation provided by the U.S. Air Force initially suggested that the lights were flares dropped during a military exercise, but many witnesses were skeptical of this explanation. They reported that the lights did not behave like flares and appeared to be part of a single, massive object. In recent years, former Arizona Governor Fife Symington publicly stated that he had seen the UFO and believed it was of extraterrestrial origin. He also criticized the Air Force's explanation. The Phoenix Lights remain a topic of debate and intrigue in the UFO community, with some believing it was a massive extraterrestrial craft and others sticking to the military flare explanation. The Rendlesham Forest Incident. The Rendlesham Forest Incident, often referred to as Britain's Roswell, is one of the most well-documented UFO encounters involving military personnel. It took place in December 1980 near the twin military bases of RAF Bentwaters and RAF Woodbridge in Suffolk, England. The incident began when security personnel at the bases reported strange lights in the nearby Rendlesham Forest. They described the lights as being of various colors and moving through the trees. When they investigated further, they discovered a metallic, triangular object on the forest floor, which left impressions in the ground. Lieutenant Colonel Charles Holt, the deputy base commander, led a team to investigate the sightings over the course of several nights. They witnessed strange lights in the sky, observed the object on the ground, and even recorded audio of their experiences. Holt's memo detailing the events became public in the early 1980s, and it remains one of the most significant pieces of evidence in the case. In the memo, Holt stated, "I believe the objects that I saw at close quarter were extraterrestrial in origin and that the security services of both the United States and the United Kingdom have attempted, both then and now, to subvert the significance of what occurred at Rendlesham Forest and RAF Bentwaters. While the British Ministry of Defence initially downplayed the incident, it has since been the subject of extensive investigation and debate. The Rendlesham Forest incident remains a prominent case in UFO lore and continues to generate interest and speculation. The Roswell incident. The Roswell UFO incident is perhaps the most famous and enduring UFO mystery in history. It took place in July 1947 in Roswell, New Mexico, and involved the alleged crash of an unidentified object on a ranch. Initially, the U.S. Army Air Forces issued a press release stating that they had recovered a flying disc. However, this statement was quickly retracted, and officials claimed that it was merely a weather balloon. The controversy surrounding Roswell grew over the years, and various witnesses came forward with different accounts of what had happened. Some claimed to have seen debris with strange symbols, while others said they saw small, humanoid bodies at the crash site. Interest in the Roswell incident was revived in the late 1970s when investigative journalist Stanton Friedman began researching and interviewing witnesses. His work, along with that of others, led to the popularization of the belief that the U.S. government had covered up the recovery of an extraterrestrial spacecraft and its occupants. The Roswell incident has been the subject of numerous books, documentaries, and conspiracy theories. While the official government explanation remains that it was a weather balloon, many UFO enthusiasts continue to believe that something more extraordinary occurred in Roswell in 1947. The Kecksburg UFO incident. The Kecksburg UFO incident occurred on December 9, 1965, in Kecksburg, Pennsylvania. Witnesses reported seeing a fireball streaking across the sky and crashing in a nearby wooded area. The object was described as acorn-shaped and about the size of a Volkswagen Beetle. Local authorities, including firefighters, police, and military personnel, responded to the scene. They cordoned off the area, and some witnesses claimed to have seen a metallic object partially buried in the ground. The object was said to have strange hieroglyphic-like markings. The U.S. military arrived and removed the object on a flatbed truck, claiming it was a military vehicle and not a threat to the public. The official explanation given was that it was a Soviet satellite that had re-entered Earth's atmosphere. However, this explanation has been widely questioned, as the object did not resemble any known satellite, and the hieroglyphic-like markings were never satisfactorily explained. Over the years, various investigations and inquiries have taken place regarding the Kecksburg incident. Some researchers believe that it may have been a Soviet spacecraft or probe, while others suggest it could have been an experimental U.S. craft. The Kecksburg UFO incident remains a topic of debate and intrigue, and it has become a prominent part of UFO folklore in Pennsylvania and beyond. In conclusion, these are just a few of the famous UFO sightings and incidents that have puzzled investigators and the public alike. While some have been explained away as natural phenomena or military activities, others continue to defy easy explanation, fueling the ongoing fascination with the possibility of extraterrestrial visitation and unexplained aerial phenomena. Thanks for watching. Remember, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications.